Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. Today is gonna be my finale for my Franken palette, and this is gonna have a restart, of course, next week. I just want to keep doing this project forever. This for me is preferable to the Pan Those Eyeshadows project or the Pan That Palette project because I love using my Natasha Denona eyeshadows, and to be honest with myself, I use them almost every single day. And the way that I hit piano on them and get more inspired is by creating Frankenpalette, which is just removing the pans of certain Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes and creating my own to use throughout an entire month, sometimes for 15 days, sometimes for longer. On this video, we're gonna have two different parts of this project pan because when I was editing the last update, I noticed that I didn't press play or that I lost some footage from that update, but there are parts that are there. So I just wanna use those parts, but at the same time do the second update. So you will see Jordana from the past, and then you will see Jordana from today. So I'll let you know how many pans I hit. So if you want to see the first update and the second update from my Franken palette, and then an overall view of my entire Natasha Denona collection of eyeshadow palettes and pans, then just keep on watching. Okay, you guys, so let's just go ahead and see Jordana from the past talking about the palettes. If I don't have close-ups or footage of some things, don't mind it, you guys. It's just that I lost it, and I already disentangled the Franken palette that I had and placed every single eyeshadow at their homes. So don't be mad at me for that. It's just something that happened. So just enjoy the update because I get to tell you the shades that I hit pan on and the amount of shades that I hit pan on that update. I have my Franken palette update, and this is the third update. Even though I do not have the amount of progress that I wish I had, I still have progress to show you guys, and I needed to create a new Franken palette because today is Wednesday when I'm recording this, but then on Saturday I will be leaving for a 20-day trip, and I needed to put together a Franken palette that would work for my trip. So I decided to create a small Franken palette with meaty shadows from my Natasha Denona palette to keep working on this project while I'm away, and then to keep chipping in on my Natasha Denona eyeshadows, a variety of them, without taking a huge palette with me. Okay, you guys, so to start, I wanted to share a close-up of the shades that are left behind on this Franken palette. The only shade that is not here that I haven't hit pan on that you will see on my baby Franken palette, it's the blackest black from the My Dream palette. But this is how the palette is looking right now. This one already had pan, and I'm about to hit pan on this one. I'm positive that before Saturday, I will be having pan on this one and that I will make way more progress on this shade. But you guys, I'm happy with the results. I've been using a lot of the brownish warm shades. I use this one a ton, this one a ton. I've used this one, this one, this one. Played a lot with this Franken palette, and I love the color scheme. I'm thinking that on Friday I will just put every eyeshadow that I haven't hit pan on here back at their homes, and then probably I will have pan on this one. I will put it in my Franken palette that I always have empty to place the new pans from this Franken project. Now I have here 4 new pans for this project, and I'm so excited, you guys, that I have 4 new pans. It's daylight, you guys, and I have my window right here, so I decided to just lower the lighting since sometimes it just changes. On this Franken palette, I have the products that were on this mini makeup geek palette. So those are the cheek products that I worked on my Panda Face palette project that are no longer in there. But these are the 4 shades, and they're from 4 different Natasha Denona palettes. None of them, I think, are from a palette that didn't have pan before. That doesn't matter. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you the colors, and then I'm gonna show you the mother palettes that they belong to, and then I'm gonna show you that palette so that you can see how it's looking now and how many pans that palette will have. So the pans are from Pastel, Retro, Blue, Purple, and then Leela Palette. So the Leela Palette now has a second pan, and I think the Blue Purple has a second pan as well. I can't remember, but I think even the Pastel Palette, this is the second pan that I've hit. So let's just grab those palettes and see how they're looking after placing these colors or these new pans in them. Okay, you guys, so this is the retro palette, and now this is looking even more beautiful. The shade that I hit pan recently is Glitz, which is the first shade. But I think all of these pans, except for two or pans this year that I've hit from the 19 are from these retro palette. So Glitz and the Psychedelic and Helio are from this year, and then the two that it had before I started this Frankenpalette project this year were Opart and Go-Go. But you guys, that's a lot of progress. That means that this palette now has 6 pans and it started the year with 2. And now you guys, this is my least favorite Natasha Denona palette that I own. It's the Leela Palette, and it's not because of the color scheme, it's more for the quality of the eyeshadows. And I hit pan on the shade Juno, and I was using these as an inner corner or first quarter of my eyelid type of shade, and I think it's a beautiful eyeshadow. It's just that the overall performance of this palette when I first got it and started using it didn't blow me away. I need to maybe use it as a whole again and see how I feel about it. But I think it was on my ranking, it ranked last on my last Natasha Denona ranking. But this is the second pan for this palette this year, and I started the year with 0 pans in it. I know I can show it some more love, it's just that I need to get out of my head because I always think that the quality of this one is just not the best. Okay, you guys, so now last but not least, I'm gonna show you the new tiny Franken palette that I'm taking with me on my trip. And I have 2 shades in here that already have pan in them, but I was trying to find shades from other Natasha Denona palettes to replace them to take with me and to keep pan on them, but I couldn't find them, and I wanted this palette to be perfect because when I travel, I don't want to be hate panning anything. So this is what my dream palette is looking right now. It has a few warmer tones which I put in there just in case I wanted to switch up the look. But if I was honest with myself, if I remove these 2 shades, the palette would still be perfect. And what I love about this Makeup Geek palette that my friend Janet sent to me is that it has a mirror. So it will serve me well on my trip for sure. And I love that it's super compact. Okay, you guys, so now that that update is done, I wanted to show you guys the progress that I've made on my mini Franken palette, and this is the one that I created to take on my trip. And it was basically when I wasn't using the bronzer from my Hourglass Elephant palette as my eyeshadow, I was using this, and I've been using it and abusing it, and I thought I was gonna have more pans because since I came back from my trip, which was November 30, I've used this one quite a bit. I almost always incorporate it into my makeup looks, but I still haven't hit more than 1 pan. So this one already had 2 pans, which was this pan right here, and then this one I've expanded it quite a bit from the Retro Glam palette. But then the only pan that I've been able to hit has been this one right here. These 2, I almost have pan in them, and for the rest of them, I've used them and made progress on all of them. So I know I will be hitting pan on more of these soon. Part of me doesn't want to put these eyeshadows back in their collection, but it's something that I want to do because I love starting fresh and just pulling products out again as if this palette never existed, as if it was my first Franken palette. The eyeshadow that I hit pan on this Franken palette was the eyeshadow from the Dream palette, and this is the shade Thrill. So you guys, another pan on that palette, which is something that's super exciting because that palette, it's one of the newest ones that I've had that only has over a year old, a little bit over a year old, and it's one that I think already has 3 pans. So it's exciting for me. I think that one, when it comes to usage, is one of my most used palettes, and when I'm doing Franken palettes, I can tell that most of the shades of that Dream palette are shades that I wanna pull out because this is basically here half of the I Need a Nude, the Glam palette, and then most of the shades are from the Dream palette on this one. So far, counting the pans that I hit on 2023, I counted 23 pans. So 23 pans in 2023 from my Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette, and I can't remember how many pans I had in my overall collection. Guys, I decided that I'm gonna do the showing you every palette and every pan that I've hit in another video, because I've done that video for about 2 years now. So let's just close this video saying that I hit 23 pans in 2023 on my Frankenpalette project on my Natasha Denona palettes. I know that I hit a few more pans, or one or two more pans on my Level Up project pan. Maybe 25 pans. It's the total of pans that I hit during this past year on my Natasha Denona palettes. But stay tuned, because right now I have all of my palettes right here, and I'm watching my last video from 2022, the amount of pans that I had on each of the Natasha Denona palettes, and I'm gonna do a comparison and see which palettes now that didn't have pan the year before have pan and whatnot. And I know you guys love to see my Natasha Denona content, so if you like this video, stay tuned, because I'm gonna do another Frankenpalette project. I'll be filming that, I think, next week. Of course, stay tuned for more content. And you guys, remember to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a video. I love you, and I guess I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.